I'm Charlie and back, and I've played the Forbidden Mario game. In 1985, Nintendo released Super Mario Bros. For the NES and the Famicom, but that's not where this story ends. Nintendo at this point in their life had been licensing out a few of their characters and arcade games to other companies, such as Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. to Coleco and Mario Bros. To the Atari for consoles, but they also felt that they needed to get into the PC market. Some of their games had been released on Japanese computers, such as Mario Bros. Special, Punchball Mario Bros. And a sequel to Donkey Kong 3 that I'm not even going to try to pronounce, and all of these games were developed by a company known as Hudson Soft. After the release of Super Mario Bros., Hudson and Nintendo came to an agreement to release a port of Super Mario Bros. To Japanese computers by the name of Super Mario Bros. Special. However, as development went further into this port, Hudson realized that they would need to create their own version of Super Mario Bros., as the PC could not handle the NES original. So instead, they made their own game, basically being a sequel to the first Super Mario Bros. Now of course, because the game is on PC, it looks like this. What the was that?
But luckily, fans of Mario have made ROM hacks and other fun ways of playing Super Mario Bros. Special and making it actually playable. So I decided to check out the Super Mario Bros. Special 35th anniversary hack made for the original Super Mario Bros. On the Nintendo Entertainment System. World 1 of Super Mario Bros. Special is very similar to the original World 1 of Super Mario Bros. Of course, there's a lot less stuff in this PC game. Just a few question mark blocks, a few Koopa Troopers, Goombas, but this level is actually very different. You'll also notice that the colors are different.
No!
But the level being an introduction to Super Mario Bros. Pretty much stays the same throughout the level, and that repeating nature repeats throughout World 1 of Super Mario Bros. Special itself. Each level is really just a new interpretation of the original World 1 levels. One unique thing about World 1 too is that the entire level isn't just underground. Instead, it has both an underground section and an overworld section, with the underground just being the main focus of the level, with the overworld kind of just being this little extra thing. Otherwise, World 1-3 and World 1-4 are just new versions of pre-existing levels and themes, with 1-4 almost being identical, just with the fire bars in different locations. World 2 also follows this same principle, although to a much more obvious degree. World 2-1 is overworld, World 2-2 is underwater, World 2-3 is overworld but on a bridge, and World 2-4 is obviously a castle.
No way!
However, 2-3 starts to show the wacky side of Super Mario Bros. Special with the level ending underground instead of the overworld, which never happened in the original game at all. It's quite a unique thing, but you start to question why there's a castle underground, but I guess that doesn't matter. At the end of the castle, you of course fight
Bowser
and continue on your merry way. World 3 is where things get wacky. The first level is actually an underwater level, very similar to World 2-2, but this time it also combines the idea of World 2-3 with the bridges with fish jumping out of the water. It's quite a unique level that is completely different to what you would see in the base game, really showing that Hudson Soft wanted to make something different. You'll also notice taller trees, more invisible blocks, but the level itself is just pretty empty. But you know what? This is fine. This is kind of just like the real Lost levels, and what should have been Super Mario Bros. 2, instead of the two other versions that we got. Of course, I mean this NES ROM hack. The original version of this game should never really be considered anything. World 3-2 introduces a fun glitch. You can get soft-locked. It's kind of annoying, but that's the PC jank you get. Other than that, World 3-2 has two mushrooms right next to each other, which is something that you never see in Mario games, and also the introduction of a brand new theme, one that's not seen in the base game at all.
Autumn. Or fall, if that's what you want to call it.
Yes, after you enter the pipe, you somehow travel to a different place where it's daytime again and everything is orange. This theme repeats throughout the game sometimes, but it's very interesting that it's here at all. World 3-3 is basically identical to World 1-3 of both this game and the original game, so there's not much to note here. It's just that half the level takes place underground for some reason. I guess that's unique. Here you can find a little pathway set up for a 1-up so it can get to you. Well, it was fun to try. The castle is once again more of the same, except this time introducing two things to Super Mario Bros. Being the barrels from Donkey Kong, which just like in Donkey Kong you have to jump over, and the hammer from Donkey Kong, which is the only thing that will allow you to destroy the barrels. A lot of elements from the arcade games made its way into Super Mario Bros. Special, most likely due to Hudson Soft also working on the PC ports of both Mario Bros. And Donkey Kong. World 4 returns to the similarities of the original game, with World 4-1 introducing Lakitu. However, there's another new power-up in this game, something never seen before: the wing. The wing, just like any other Mario flying power, lets you fly. However, due to this game being really janky, really all it does is allow you to look like you're swimming in the air for a little bit. It's a bit unique, but it doesn't compare to what's coming. World 4 2 introduces multiple elements from the arcade game Mario Bros., being ice that can fall down and kill you, and the crabs. They work the same way as they do in the arcade games, just making it so you can't jump on the crabs, but they're pretty fun additions to the game. There wasn't much past Mario games to take things from, so the fact that they took it from Mario Bros is actually really cool. World 4 3 does more with the mushroom platforms, and World 4 4 is your standard run-of-the-mill castle. Not much to add here. World 5 introduces those bugs from Mario Bros, just like in the arcade game, and they're just as annoying here. It also introduces bloopers to the overworld, alongside some of the cool things from underwater levels being in the overworld, alongside platforming on these smiling clouds, but otherwise it's just your standard Mario level. A lot of these levels seem like there could have been levels in Super Mario Maker, as they're full of some of the most random things you'll ever see in a Mario game in no random order and with no logic. Then World 5-3 and World 5-4 just seemingly repeat other levels from earlier in this game.
Well, that's just great.
World 6 does more with Lakitu and more Mario Maker type levels, with question mark blocks being everywhere. But World 6 2 has this weird thing where the bonus underground section is actually in the overworld theme, despite very clearly being an underground bonus world. World 6 3 once again does the sky theme, but this time makes all of the platforms out of snow, which adds a bit of uniqueness to this level, but it's just the same old same old. This game isn't really that difficult, all things considered, it's just different. Comparing it to the other Mario games shouldn't really count, as this thing is its own beast. It would have been fantastic to see this on an actual NES, but I understand why it stayed on Japanese computers. It's also annoying that Nintendo have never re-released this game, or ever even acknowledged its existence. World 7 is more of the same, so I think it's time to talk about everything else I got added to this game. All of these additions are really cool additions, to be honest. I would love to see things like the hammer appear in the Mario games now. The rest of World 7 is pretty mundane, all things considered. It's when we get to World 8 that things are different.
I lied.
World 8-1 is very different, yes, with the mushroom platforms and all that, and the beginning of World 8-2 is cool with it being underwater, but then World 8-2 is pretty much the same as World 8-3 from Super Mario Bros. Everyone say it with me.
Big castle walls with annoying hammer bros with random platforming in the middle of nothing.
This is then followed by World 8-3, which is pretty much the same as one of the earlier castles, but they put the castle in the underground theme instead, which is kinda weird. The World 8 castle is actually one of the easiest castles in the entire game. It's just really long. It's a lot of jumps of faith, followed by jumps into pipes. Pretty simple if you ask me, but it's still somewhat fun compared to the original Super Mario Bros. I don't know if I've just played the original game that many times, but I really like how, although this just takes elements from the original Super Mario Bros. And a few of the other games that are in the Mario universe, they managed to make something different, something unique. It really feels like a sequel to Super Mario and I'm done. You save Peach, but instead of giving you a new challenge, she just says how fantastic you are. Thanks Peach, I really needed that. Overall, Super Mario Bros. Special is a fun, special version of Super Mario Bros., but I think the game would have been a lot more interesting if it actually released on the NES instead of the PC. It's quite a unique game, so if you're ever looking for another NES Mario game to play, you should try out this ROM hack. It's great.
So I wonder if there's a special version of me. That's better.